Meena, Tina, who are always with me, troubling me and changing my serious mood to funny mood all the time. But I feel incomplete without them. Once, Reena, Meena, Tina, and me boarded the elevator from the 11th floor. Our journey started and immediately stopped. Lights were flickering and it got dark. I was afraid. I screamed, but there was no noise. That's when I realized my larynx choked. I threw my hands in the air, but I couldn't feel them. And then, greetings to one and all present here. This is V. Sahasra, a proud 9th grader of KRM Public School, Chennai, India, here to present my TED Talk on lessons that live, learning beyond words. It is something that can heal broken hearts, calm racing minds, and even put hyperactives to sleep. It takes you to ancient kingdoms, future worlds, and even into a mind of superhero. Still, you don't need to know telepathy or a flight and a time machine. It is a perfect meter of speech in which people of all age listen with great enthusiasm. Yes, it's quite simple, yet magical. It's nothing but stories, our first mentors, silent guides, and timeless teachers. Because a story can do what even 100 instructions cannot. As soon as we hear the word stories, our minds instantly think of our grandparents, parents, or maybe our history teachers. I'm no different. I grew up by listening to my grandmother's stories, each one told with a direct oral touch. I truly began to enjoy stories when I started to feel them, when I could savor every word, every twist, and above all, every message. One of the first stories that left a deep mark in me was a classic tale that teaches honesty is the best policy in the best way. Yes, it's the woodcutter and the axe. That simple tale provoked a thought in me that honesty, even though sometimes risky, is always rewarded. While I was enjoying these fables, history started captivating me. When my teacher asked me to read the word history, I read it to be as his stories. Of course, history is not only about men, but also countless number of women and others whose voices are deserved to be heard. Well, how many of you like history? When I asked this question to my mom, she immediately replied that she hated them because she had to prepare long list of dates and events rather than focusing on what happened. But to me, history is full of happenings because even though I am good at remembering dates, I just don't bother them. If someone's going to ask us straight in our face, when did that happen? Well, we have the right answer. Oh, it happened long, long ago. So long ago. Right? Yes, long, long ago in India, we were blessed with two great epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Each one is a world of stories in which each character represents different shades of humanity. Rama and Ramayana teaches us the ideal characteristics of a good personality, while Mahabharata is almost like an ancient case study in psychology and politics, reminding us that human nature is complex, where virtues and flaws often coexist. But beyond all this, both the epics quietly mentor us on answering 5 timeless questions in our life. What? Why? When? Where? And how? That's the power of these epics. They just don't tell us what happened, but they teach us how to live. But you know what's even more magical than this? When I heard the story of Abhimanyu for the first time, I was absolutely taken aback. Do you know why? Any guesses? Well, Abhimanyu, a character from Mahabharata, brilliant warrior, brave heart, who broke into the Chakravyuga formation during the Kurukshetra war. Well, Chakravyuga is a rotating, multi-layered military formation which traps and surrounds enemies like a circular maze. He broke into that formation. Well, that's not magical. What's magical is that how he learned the trick. He learnt it while he was still an unborn. Yes, you heard me right. The story goes like this. Abhimanyu learned to break into the Chakravyuga just by listening to his father's narration to his mother while he was still in her womb. Another exciting example is the story of Prahalada. Prahalada got deeply influenced by the thoughts and beliefs that his mother heard while he was still in her womb, which had a great impact on his life. It made his heart to choose faith over fear, even before birth. Unbelievable, right? My brain wanted to know the scientific reason behind it. And after lots of digging up, I found that Dr. Peter G. Hepper and many other scientists have conducted research and experiments that show the result. Fetus start hearing sounds right from the 24th week of pregnancy. That's when I realized stories aren't just a form of entertainment, but a powerful tool that can shape the human brain even before birth. When I conducted a survey of 120 people, I asked them whether they have attended any story sessions during their pregnancy. But only 17% were aware that stories could influence fetus. So having conversation or telling stories to our unborn will help them to stimulate their brain connections. Repetition of words and social cues like soothing tones and emotion will strengthen their neural pathways related to language and memory. The best part is that Rama in Ramayana guides us through the light of Dharma. Mahabharata acts as our friend, a strategic planner to face our problems. And Prahalada shows to choose faith over fear. Now let's see what happens to our neural system when we start reading or listening to stories. Psychologists say that when we listen or read stories, narrative transportation takes place in our brain. It means that we just don't hear or read, but we enter into the story. Our brain just starts firing up as if we are living at the moment. If a character is running, our motor cortex lights up. If a character is heartbroken in a story, our limbic system, yes, the emotional center, starts to activate. Because our brain doesn't really distinguish between the story experience and real-time experience. Once, four of our friends wanted to watch a patriotic film. We were all ready with our popcorn, snacks, and had only one thought in our mind. It is going to be about action and army pride. But to our surprise, it was a mix of emotions. The first half was filled with romance and humor. My friend Yuka just finding wit, dialogue after dialogue. We all laughed so much that even I thought we had turned into maniacs. But the second half was a contrast. We all remained silent. The scene where the commander sacrifices himself for the nation. Droplets of tears clogged in our eyes. But more than the sound of movie, we could hear only one sound. We all turned with military coordination and saw our friend Yuka crying, her tears rolling down into her pants. The one who made us to laugh to the core was just crying to the core at second half. That's how interesting is narrative transportation. If you had that one friend popped up in your mind, that's because of narrative transportation too. I was watching my favorite video of all time, which always makes me to smile and relieve my stress. That day, I was closing my eyes and enjoying it with narrative transportation. Suddenly, a voice popped up. Struggling with math? Your child still figuring out to do 7 plus 4 doing 4th grade? Join our workshop to not only make your child do 7 plus 4 but also 75 into 24 in lightning speed. All the stress that I relieved just reloaded in my mind just by hearing that one word, math. But after hearing those lines, even I wanted to sign up for the workshop and imagined me doing like this and writing my answers during my examinations where everyone just watching me. But that's when reality hit. I realized I was a ninth grader and knew how to solve 7 plus 4 without even doing like this. Right? That's the power of advertisements, the greatest 1 minute storytellers of all time. I know most Indian moms out here will be in cloud 9 whenever they are called as Santur moms. Is it not? Yes, these advertisements, they just don't focus on selling their products, but they have a story with it. They tap something even more deeper, our emotions and human experiences. They connect with people. Even stories connect with our brain through a phenomena called as neural coupling, where the listener's brain activity mirrors the storyteller's brain activity, offering us a shared experience. Stories also trigger the release of hormones like oxytocin, which fosters the feeling of trust and empathy. The art of business storytelling isn't just about sharing information or marketing, but enhancing the memorability, building trust and authenticity during the business meetings. Stories have taken different forms of entertainments like advertisements, mimes, street plays, stage plays, and also movies. Autobiographies and biographies definitely shape us, and even 73% of my surveyors have supported that they got inspired by stories of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Swami Vivekananda ji, and many other personalities. WHO, World Health Organization, use stories as a key tool to create awareness on vaccination, mental health, and cleanliness, and used this as a strategy to make people aware of spread of pandemic during 2020. Children are crucially molded by stories, right? UNICEF creates stories that make children aware of their rights. They also conduct campaigns like Let's Read campaigns, which promote reading in early learners. Everything has two sides, but stories have many sides, many endings, and many findings, just like a multi-split personality. During lockdown, my mom, after seeing my love towards stories, enrolled me in a storytelling class. One day, teacher told us to share the various values that we learned from the story Hare and the Tortoise. Even though I was an introvert back then, I immediately unmuted and said, "We should not be lazy even though we are good at things." Another friend added up that we should not be overconfident. That same story also made me to realize that we should not compare between two people, as everyone has their own talents and capabilities hiding in themselves, moving with their own pace. But 94% of them said that even smallest part of stories have had a great impact in them. And 76% of them supported the statement that right story at the right time can change a whole person's life. Stories creates awareness, mold us into better versions of ourselves, and teach us values. Now, whom do you get reminded of when you hear these lines? Do you know what I did when I was your age? Or, come sit next to me, I'll tell you an interesting story. Yes, grandparents, is it? We frame their experience and enjoy their narration. You will imagine your own grandmas and grandpas at their young age, which they themselves couldn't imagine. You will decide the clothes they wear, the people they are with, the environment they are in would have definitely become the director of the short film running inside your head. Raise your hands if you have ever had this experience. Wonderful, right? Even during my survey, about 75% of them had this wonderful opportunity to interact with their grandparents. How many of you are still with Reena, Meena, and Tina? You all would have concluded your own climaxes, right? Tapping your creativity. But what actually happened is that the electricity just went off and one of our friends just pulled us out. Now, take a moment to recollect what your grandparents have gifted to you. No, 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 no. I am not talking about the jewels, but those lessons, the stories, those values, those treasures that still shape us. And of course, their property, which still fund us. During my 8th grade, us having potluck lunch, our stomachs full, our upper eyelids desperately wanted to meet the lower ones. But it was math period. Even though it was a no book day, I was afraid that we would have end up with having fun with math. That kind of fun only math teacher understands. But to our surprise, our math teacher entered and told, "Let's check our creativity today. You all will add one line and we will build up a story." Okay, I thought of having a decent storyline. But my classmates were too decent. It all started peacefully only. With punchline. Once upon a time, there lived a boy. Okay. Then it continued from him waking up from bed, going to school, and ending up with same math class with same math teacher. Suddenly, one of our friends wanted to add some spice. So he killed the math teacher in the story. Before we could patch that hole up, another friend added that the math teacher came in as ghost and started taking classes. What? Of course, nothing can stop math teachers from taking classes, not even them becoming ghosts. Finally, the session ended with a sweet note to be continued in series 2, which never came up. But during that session, I started to guess the character of new faces in our class. By the end of the year, most of my predictions were right. That's when I realized the type of story that we enjoy and tell will tell the type of person who you are. Grandparent stories will improve our visualization skills. The stories that we listen to will tap our creativity and imagination and also lets us know one's character. Now let me ask you a question. What's your priority of entertainment now? Scrolling and living another's life? Or listening, reading, living with stories that ignite the you in your life? Crawl your life with stories, not scroll through gadgets. Let's not lose this precious tradition. Let's revive our legacy with stories. You see, even this TEDx platform, ideas find its heartbeat through a story. Because stories just don't propose ideas, but they make us feel them. Let's not only stack the trophies, but relish the path, the story behind it. Because best stories are not written in books, but they are written in hearts. Let's learn beyond words. Thank you. This is V. SAHASRA signing off.